Hi, my beautiful twin souls, and welcome back to another reading for your Divine Masculine. Happy 2021, happy Age of Aquarius, happy January, and boy, is it going to be a dramatic year. So let's get to what your Divine Masculine is thinking right now. Check this out. The Two of Wands. So partnership is on the Divine Masculine's mind at the moment. And maybe this isn't something that he's talked to you about previously. You know, during this period, we're going to experience a lot of up-leveling, especially because we have the new moon in Capricorn. The Four of Pentacles. So we're going to see if we're likely to hear from our person at this time. Now, the Four of Pentacles represents finding ways to create stability in the world. We also have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Super interesting start to the reading. So I'm gonna get into it. I think that with this card here, there's something about the Divine Masculine that he's trying to keep from you. And I feel like on his good days, he recognizes how far he's come. He knows that he wants this partnership. He knows that his future lies in unity and creating unity, as above, so below, as within, so without, which is a big message here with the Four of Pentacles. But he has these days where he just feels like things should be super linear. He feels like he should be able to just take baby steps, and then ultimately there's a goal. And when that doesn't happen, when things don't go as planned, he feels like it's his fault. So the Divine Masculine has some guilt going on. And I want to just take a look at the Vessel Oracle deck here to see maybe what that guilt is centered on. So tell my viewers more about what their Divine Masculine feels guilty about in regards to their connection. So your Divine Masculine feels selfish. He feels like he's been taking too much liberty and too many freedoms for himself, and he's not focusing on you with the attention that you deserve. So maybe in the past, your Divine Masculine has said something like, it's not you, it's me. I can't give you what you want right now, and this is why. He feels as though he's created too many boundaries. So if your person is an earth person, if they have Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus in their chart, what happens with people that have excessive earth is that sometimes they have too many boundaries. This can also happen with people who've experienced a lot of trauma, or grew up in a household where there was no boundaries at all. Then finally, when you create that sense of who you are, you really want to protect it. You don't want to slip back into these perceived bad habits of letting others control you or tell you what to do or push you away from the things that you're interested in getting done. And he just feels at this time that perhaps he pushed the wrong people out of his life. Or maybe there could have been a little bit more leeway with the boundaries that he created that would have yielded more freedom in the first place. So that's the lesson the Divine Masculine is learning right now. And then, of course, we have birth. So he really wants to step into a new paradigm. Anybody that may have Earth in their chart may be going through this right now because we have all the social planets coming out of Earth signs and into air, specifically Aquarius. So we're thinking about how all of these things that we want are going to birth us a new beginning in a more compassionate, more humanitarian way. Again, see, look, we have the 2 and the 4, and that leads to 6. 6 is the humanitarian number. that we can better serve our community, ourselves, and our mission at large. Now I'm going to pull some messages here just to clarify. Seeing you reminds me of the things I know deep down, and that's not always easy to deal with. Okay. I'm getting the sense that you really push your divine masculine into becoming better. Maybe your dark night of the soul triggered their dark night of the soul. I don't know if I can meet your expectations. Again, a little bit of guilt. Not being able to think that they can juggle or balance as within, so without. As above, so below. Or maybe their selfish desires with the needs of the collective, or your needs, or your selfish desires, not knowing if this is a match that will be able to perfectly align. And then something is still missing for me, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. So it's good. It's good that the divine masculine is thinking about all of these things right now. You're likely to dream of them at this moment. We have a lot of really strong energy running around in the universe. And with our new moon in Capricorn just like tomorrow, like days away, these are likely to deal with where you can become more responsible, where you can take more leadership, where in your life you need more discipline. We have the Six of Swords here for how they're feeling. So there's a bright light at the end of this tunnel, and this is also a big message to those of us who are healing from something. It's not as dark as it once was, but we really do need to tap into that heart space for ourselves in order to know what is best, what resonates the most with what we want to do. So live our truth is kind of what's coming through. Now we have the Three of Wands in reverse as well. So there's an inverted creation energy. We can look at inverted cards as energy that hasn't manifested yet. And here that kind of sticks out to me because I know that the divine masculine wants to create something with you. But it doesn't seem, to a certain extent, like there's enough positivity in his life at the moment to just go for it. Again, trying to figure out what that missing thing is. But look, the desire for the Ten of Cups is here. And I love how all of the rainbow spectrum corresponds with this. So I think that the divine masculine knows they're out of balance. I think they know where they're out of balance, what has to do with that feminine creation energy, that allowing restful energy, that seeing the glass as half full energy is going to yield this spectrum of alignment where you get total abundance. So it's just about letting go, releasing and allowing is the meaning of the 10. Something dies, something begins a new cycle. And of course, here we have these sixes. So the divine masculine is in more of a headspace, honestly, to think about other people at the moment. He's gotten out of survival mode. And I think that's a really, really, really good sign. Now I want to know, I just feel like, oh, here we go. There are things that this divine masculine wants you to know about him that he's not saying. And I feel like that's the need for connection. The divine masculine feels it's twofold. In part, it's wanting to connect back to you, realizing that you're two halves of the whole. And on another hand, it's connecting back to himself, that feminine part. What else? Oh, and I love how the triangles mirror themselves. Finding fire on those low days where he's down on himself, and especially here in winter, in the northern hemisphere, where it's really about creating that sacred fire so that we have reserves to draw from, especially creatively. And then we have make. Make. I think again that aligns with creative energy here. Making something out of nothing, making a craft, making a new life, could all be a part of these things. Ooh, I'm shuffling the wrong deck. Okay, let's take a look at these messages here. What else is the divine masculine feeling? I should have been more honest with you about how I was feeling at the time. Okay, see, a lot of regret, a lot of sadness. I think a lot of the divine masculines are moving through and processing a lot of these things that they weren't thinking about before. Even if you don't see any movement in your own connection, there are hidden reserves of, or hidden pockets of data that they're drawing from. The grass wasn't greener on the other side. I miss you. I'm not complete without you. I thought I could do it alone, and I denied these essential parts of myself and you as an essential teacher. What else? And I can still feel you. So that's a lovely message. Lovely, lovely message. Your person may continue to try to reach out to you in the 5D. And so try not, if you're owed an apology or if you feel like you're in an unmanageably conflicting situation, try to be receptive to that energy. I also have readings on my website to kind of delve in more to your specific situation. So if you feel called, please book one of these readings, and that's down below. It can be as simple as like an answer to one quick question or a more fleshed out spread about the details of your relationship. For some of you, I just feel like something extremely complicated has gone on. I've never seen this many like regretful cards as well, mixed in with kind of like a bittersweetness, honestly. But we see a change from the divine masculine for a couple weeks ago where he was just like adamant in keeping these boundaries and keeping us out. So that's a really beautiful change. So as far as action goes, I have the Mother of Wands, serpent energy, the serpent energy of the south, and also of the sacral and solar plexus chakras. So there's a lot of willpower coming in for the divine masculine, and I think that some of these issues deal with family or maybe preconceived notions about family. Most specifically, a mother or feminine figure. Some of them could be carrying a lot of baggage from previous relationships as well. We have the Three of Pentacles. Again, like a complete reversal to the reverse Three of Wands here. So whatever pent-up energy and frustration that's coming forward at the moment is likely to right itself. They're likely to be willing to climb this mountain or any challenge they perceive having been too much of a challenge in the past. We also have the Fool, a really big sign for new beginnings. So that's really amazing. And I like here how there's almost this message that the divine masculine knows within him exists this mother that will protect him so that he can go out into the world and be this chick. And see the world through rose-colored glasses and not worry about the potential dangers ahead while climbing this mountain. Because ultimately the juice is worth the squeeze. So that's really neat. So you've had a lot of threes. We've had fire. We've had a pretty well-rounded spread. We've had some pentacles, So earth and fire are really the big ticket items here. And how do we get to that divine willpower? How do we move forward from our solid foundation? And that is, again, this spread just keeps getting more and more divine. That's through the power of water. The power of water, which is ultimately associated with our sacral chakra, which is the orange colors here. And healing some of the issues related to that area, which is centered on family and relationships. Living our truth, which is really the message and outcome of this Capricorn new moon. We have romance. How lovely. The two, what does it look like? Tails, feet, dragon's feet intertwined. Okay, let's see. And then we have power. So I'm going to say right here and now that a lot of you are going to be experiencing some kind of communication from your twin. This could be in the form of written messages. It could be over the 5D, but please be cautioned here, because with a lot of things in Capricorn, the sun, the moon, and Pluto, we have transformations likely happening on every level, and power struggles may arise. So again, I said when we were over here, if you hear out from your person, try not to resist their energy. That resistance is going to create more conflict. Try to just allow. Now, of course, we have to have healthy boundaries if our person isn't being kind to us. That's not what I mean. I mean that if you're likely to make somebody feel insecure, especially someone who has a proclivity to feel that way in the first place, then they're going to respond by giving you that superiority complex, by trying to manipulate you from a position of lack. But if you're allowing of them, and especially, sometimes we walk into places and people know that they're being jerks about something. They're trying to elicit a response or a reaction or gauge things from a place of unconfidence. So if you allow, if you're gracious about it, that has the power to turn people on their head and recognize that they don't need to be that way to get what they want, that you're holding a sacred space for them to be themselves and truthful to themselves as well. So let's get some messages here to wrap up our reading. You've been in my dreams. Yes, absolutely. You've been in my dreams. And if you do have a dream about your divine masculine at this moment, please write it down. Try to chronologically order your experiences with this person. Even though, we've had some painful experiences in the past, ultimately looking at them when time has passed with new eyes is going to give you greater clarity. So consider journaling about your experience, about when you feel things, and maybe there'll be a message for you later. I want to be authentic. I am no longer afraid. Ooh. So maybe this power card also represents this ability and will to go forward, a new person. We have, I feel badly for the way I treated you. You don't deserve that. So that's amazing. Maybe this person is aware of the power struggles in their own life or the power struggles in this connection in the past, and they want to do something about it. And then on the bottom, we have you inspire me. So keep being that light, shining forward for this person. Keep working on yourself. The spiritual journey doesn't end in reunion with your twin. That is when it has just begun. And I was listening to this really amazing podcast the other day, if anybody is interested on working themselves into reunion in this capacity. I cannot remember her name, but if I do, or when I do, I'll link to it below. It was a very beautiful podcast. And it was basically, she was saying, the ticket to reunion is to overcome your deepest fear. So I'm just going to let that marinate here. I know that has something to do with this great mountain that the divine masculine is climbing, and that we're all really climbing on this spiritual journey that never really ends. But for now, we'll leave you with this. Again, perfect. Water. Be like water. Water flows in every direction. When it hits a wall, it simply goes in another. It has the power to nourish or overcome earth, put out fire, and be too heavy to be manipulated by air. So it's really considered one of the closest elements to the Tao or source or the way that things are. And we need to consider ways that we are formless and selfless, and so that brings us out of our egocentric body and mind. And really, that's the 5D, that's this Christ consciousness, that's this point where we can meet our twin as our energies are supposed to meet, as we're intended to be. So anyway, I hope that resonated with you. Let me know if it did down below in the comments. Like this video, you can subscribe to this channel, and let me know if there's any kind of a spread or question you'd like me to dive into. Other than that, I will see you next time for more about what's going on in the collective. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a blessed week.